Hey there, it's CJ Willie, and today I'm cracking a pack. I have in front of me a Theros Beyond Death booster pack. I'm hoping to get something awesome out of it like I did in my last Magic the Gathering booster pack video with Throne of Eldraine. Let's get to cracking this pack and pull something awesome. Riptide Turtle, 2 mana, 1 and a blue turtle at 0/5. It has Flash and Defender. In Limited, this was a fun card to play in a little bit more of a controlling deck. You'd flash in Riptide Turtle, stunt a whole bunch of ground attacks until you could set up your bigger bomb later on in the game. Throw a Possibility, 2 mana, 1 and a red instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Awesome upgrade to Tormenting Voice. It's a lot better to be able to pitch a land at your opponent's end step, draw 2 cards. Nyxborn Courser, 3 mana, 1 and 2 white, enchantment creature Centaur Scout at 2/4. This card actually wasn't as bad as it appeared, even though it's a vanilla creature. It gives you 2 towards your devotion in white. Ichthyomorphosis, 3 mana, 2 and a blue, enchantment or enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue fish with base power and toughness 0/1. In Limited, this was great if your opponent had one of the gods or their bomb creature had some really awesome abilities. Cards are sticking together just a little bit. Discordant Piper, 2 mana, 1 and a black, zombie satyr at 2/1. When Discordant Piper dies, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. In Limited, this is a great card to play in a sacrifice deck. It gave you 2 bodies as fodder to sacrifice to your other creature's abilities. Loathsome Chimera, 3 mana, 2 and a green, Chimera at 4/1. It has Escape for 5 mana, 4 and a green. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Loathsome Chimera escapes with a +1/+1 counter on it. Escape was a really fun mechanic in Theros Beyond Death Limited. Loathsome Chimera really fit well into that escape deck. The ability to continually bring it back as a 5/2 made it a pretty strong common. Pius Wayfinder, single white mana, human scout at 1/2. It has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. In Limited, on face value, this appeared to be a strong card, but it just didn't seem to pan out. The deck that Pius Wayfinder was played in, most of your creatures were smaller. Later in the game, getting a +1/+1 didn't really have a great effect. Captivating Unicorn, 5 mana, 4 and a white, unicorn at 4/4. It has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. It gave you the opportunity to tap down your opponent's bigger creature so that you could get damage through. And if you're able to flash in an enchantment, you could also tap their big bomb before they went into their attack step. Inspire Awe, 4 mana, 3 and a green, instant. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn except combat damage that would be dealt by enchanted creatures and enchantment creatures. Scry 2. In Limited, this was not a good card. It's a very expensive fog effect. Being able to scry 2 doesn't even help it. More than likely, your opponent has enchanted creatures or enchantment creatures. Horrible card. Final Death, 5 mana, 4 and a black, instant, exile target creature. In Limited, this is one of the commons that could be a pack one, pick one. It can take care of almost any creature unless that creature has protection or hexproof, and it also gets rid of the gods. First uncommon is Centaur Petitioner, 3 mana, 1 generic, 2 green, human druid at 2/2. When Centaur Petitioner enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to your devotion to green. Green is a color that usually has multiple pips in its converted mana cost. This card is good to play later game when you've got quite a few of those pips out so that you can gain a lot of life. Aside from that, it doesn't have much of an impact because it just sits there on the board as a 2/2. Rise to Glory, 5 mana, 3 generic, 1 white, 1 black, sorcery. Choose one or both. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Return target Aura card from your graveyard to the battlefield. In Limited, this was a pretty strong card. If your bomb got sent to the graveyard, you had a way to get it back onto the battlefield. If you had a pretty cool aura as well, you could bring both back. That could be a game breaker for your opponent because they may only be able to deal with your bomb one time. Final uncommon is Sage of Mysteries, single blue mana, human wizard at 0/2, has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. In the Limited format, I like the mill mechanic. However, in Theros Beyond Death, the mill mechanic wasn't sometimes a good idea because it helped your opponent with escape. But it could sit in your sideboard, and if you're playing an opponent that isn't featuring escape in their deck, it still is a card that can mill them out if you have other pieces. Okay, will we get a great rare or mythic rare? We have Idyllic Tutor. 3 mana, 2 and a white, sorcery, search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Initially, I thought in Limited this was not going to be a great rare. It just seemed too slow to be able to go and grab an enchantment. It combos really well if you're able to draft a god, or if you've got a bomb enchantment, which there are plenty of those in Theros Beyond Death. And then we have a full art mountain and a 1/1 human soldier creature token. In my opinion, this is a tough call in what the best card in the pack is. I really like Idyllic Tutor. For enchantments, it's like a second copy of that enchantment. Rise to Glory is also a pretty strong card in Limited as well. I think in this particular instance, I would probably take Idyllic Tutor simply because there are tons of enchantments going around. Idyllic Tutor is another way for me to get that bomb and get it onto the battlefield. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Take some time to tell me in the comments section what was your favorite card or the best card out of the pack. Till next time when I'm back to crack my next pack of Magic the Gathering.